Hey y'all, my name is Elise. Thank you all for viewing, liking, commenting, and subscribing to this channel. Thank you all so much. With that being said, let's get into it. So, over the last week or so, Miss Felicia Rashard, the absolutely beautiful, renowned actress known for her role as Claire Huxtable, um, kind of has the conversation started around modesty, basically. So she was on the Breakfast Club last week, and basically she was talking about how, women nowadays are dressed in strips of clothing. That's what she called it, strips of clothing. And people on the internet, namely women, offended women, I shall say, are saying that she's a pick me because she brought in the fact that, or brought in her opinion that men don't want their women dressed any kind of way. Men don't want their women or their woman, excuse me, because it shouldn't be women. That's more than one. So men don't want their woman to be out here dressed any kind of way, to be dressed loosely, to be dressed provocatively, to be dressed showing all of their assets. She is from the era where classy was sexy, modesty was beautiful, and she just really got the conversation started around that. Like, nowadays, people are dressed any kind of way. People are dressed with next to nothing on outside. People are not taking pride in how they dress and what they wear. They coming out with basically their bra and panties on as a full outfit. You know, that's not cool. That's not nice. Of course, you could be proud of your body and still be modest. You could be proud of your body and still be classy. Because let's just be real. Showing off, you know, dressing naked, as the old folks say, that's not cute, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to get a little personal. Um, I am a woman who I consider myself to dress modestly, right? And I always have for the most part. Um, when I was younger, I gathered a lot of attention from the clothes I would wear. And I wouldn't even dress like really fast or grown for my age. But when I realized what I wore would gather attention, I start covering up. I start like hiding myself. I start hiding my figure because I didn't like the attention. So instead of me wearing form fitted shirts, I would wear baggy t-shirts because I didn't like the attention I got. I've always been full figured, right? And I started wearing baggy t-shirts instead of form fitting shirts. Or I stopped wearing short. Like I completely stopped wearing shorts. And I just used to always wear pants or capris because of the attention that I got. Um, then I started wearing jackets. I would start covering up wearing jackets. Like I completely covered up my figure because I didn't like the attention, the extra attention I was getting, right? But the older I got, I kind of grew out of that a little bit, right? Just a little bit. Then I'll never forget, I was about 18 or 19 years old, and I was going to the gas station, and I still had my scarf on my head. And my auntie scolded me like, "Where you going? With that rag on your head, my scarf on my head." And I'm like, "I'm just going to the gas station." She said, "No, I don't care if you're just going down the street. You don't leave out the house with a scarf on your head. If your hair is not done, put on a hat. Take pride in how you look when you leave the house." That has always resonated with me. I don't care where I'm going. You never know who you might see. You never know who you might meet. So always try to be your best. Not saying that you have to have on a face full of makeup or anything like that, but look your best. Look classy. Look put together. Like I am one of the women who I don't believe you should be walking out with your pajamas on in public. I don't believe that you should be inside the store with your night clothes on, with your pajamas, with uh your what you call them, your house shoes on. It's called house shoes for a reason. You stay in the house with your house shoes, your bonnet. I don't believe you should be out in public with your bonnet on. That's just me, because at the end of the day, grown folks can do what grown folks choose to do. This is just me. This is how I feel. This is my opinion on the subject. Classy will never go out of style. Classy is always beautiful. Classy has always been the real sexy, not naked, not, you know, perverted dressing. Classy, modestly. I'll tell you guys something else that I'll never forget. So I told you about how my aunt checked me going out the house at 18, 19 years old with a scarf on my head. I'll tell you guys something else. It was a few years ago. I had just got saved, and I got saved in February of 2019. This happened the day before my birthday in May of 2019. So for my birthday, I had went out on a little cruise ship, a little lunch cruise ship for lunch, celebrating my birthday. And then I came home to take a nap so I could hang out later on that night. Well, I was dressed cute, so I thought, I was dressed cute, dressed modest, and that was that. But as I was laying in the bed, like I say, God always talked to me for the most part. I'm in the bed. And so as I was laying there, I heard him say, modesty, modesty, modesty. And I'm laying there like, what you trying to say, God? Like I heard him say modesty 3 times. And I'm like, what is he trying to say? Like I was dressed modest. I wasn't because okay, I did used to dress with my boobs out, right? Like I didn't think that was a problem. Like women had always told me, don't dress trashy, but it's okay to, you know, have a little cleavage out. So I used to dress sometimes with more than a little of my cleavage out. That was really the most I would do. And after he told me modesty, or after I heard modesty, I started paying attention to what I was actually wearing. So then as I start picking my clothing to wear, I would start getting convicted, like shirts or whatever that showed a little too much cleavage or that was too revealing. I start getting convicted by it, by my clothing. And I'm like, this must be what he was trying to talk to me about. Paying attention to my clothing because I actually had started getting convicted by my clothing. Now, did I listen to the conviction every time? Of course not, because sometimes I wanted to wear what I wanted to wear. And I would put on the clothes anyway, even though I was convicted the whole time. Like, at least don't put on that. It's no, it's a reason why your spirit is stirred up. Don't put that on. But I thought it was cute, you know, I put it on. And the whole time I'm convicted. The whole time I'm trying to tug on my clothes because I'm feeling naked. I'm feeling immodest out here, right? So that's just a quick little disclaimer about my little personal um, journey with modesty. Or I could also say how, even in the workplace, again, I still dress pretty modestly at work. And I will have this one specific coworker used to always say, why you don't wear Nike jogging suits and all this and all that and the leggings and this and that. Cause that's not me. I don't wear that. I don't wear that. I don't dress like that. Like outside of work, I don't wear gym shoes. That's just me personally. I don't wear gym shoes like that. And I don't have to wear a Nike jogging suit. I don't have to walk around with leggings on because if I would walk around with leggings on, it'll be a distraction. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to draw unnecessary attention to myself? I'm a very modest woman. I'm a very reserved woman. I'm very mindful of how I dress and I don't want anybody to stumble, right? I remember a guy came up to me years back at work. Elise, why you don't wear leggings? Why you don't wear this? Why you don't wear that? And I just thought that was so strange to me because it's like, you have a woman. Why are you asking me about why I don't wear these revealing clothing, right? Why I don't wear stretch pants? Why I don't wear yoga pants? Clearly, it's the reason why I'm not wearing it because of people like you. That's why I don't wear it. Because you want to see me in them. I know you do. That's why I'm not wearing them. I don't want anybody to stumble. But again, I'm starting to ramble. But the moral of this video is modesty will always be sexy. Modesty will always be classy. It's okay to be covered. It's okay to be covered. You can still be cute and covered. You don't have to show everything. You don't have to reveal everything. Leave something to the imagination of your husband, of course, not to everybody out here. Leave something to the imagination of your husband. You don't want everybody fantasizing about you. But, it is a compliment at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, the only person that you're trying to impress is yourself, your spouse, and your heavenly father. But nowadays, people are dressing for the women or they're dressing for the men for competition or whatever, for competition as well as for compliments. Don't dress looking for compliments from other people. Dress for yourself. Dress for yourself. Dress for your spouse. And if you're single, dress for yourself. Dress for yourself, excuse me. Dress for your future spouse. And ultimately dress to glorify and please your heavenly father. It's not that deep out here, y'all. Modesty is classy. Modesty will always be sexy. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? That's all that matters.